they got it fixed. That's a rather dramatic change from the pictures we were seeing in the first few laps of this race as Darrell just went straight backward.
And Darrell wants to do this. He was kind of embarrassed that first half, let's face it, because he just didn't run that well. But he's showing right now that, yes, I don't want to retire. I want to keep doing this for a while.
Some of the quotes in the newspapers have been interesting about Darrell. A lot of second thoughts, perhaps, about how much longer he wants to continue doing this. And then he comes here and qualifies fourth and runs like he is at this moment. And you know retirement is the furthest thing from his career. Let's go back and get an update on the Ernie Irvan story with Marty Reed.
Well, you can tell by the man's out of the cockpit that the day is over, and this is not the way we wanted to talk at the end of this. And what put you out?
Well, we probably tried to do too much on the halftime, trying to make the truck better, and just didn't get it done. And, you know, probably going to take another 10 minutes to get it right. So, man, we'll just have another day.
Hey, but I'll tell you one thing. You dazzled the fans, and you dazzled all of us, and thanks for taking us along for the ride.
Well, I tell you, you know, I have a lot of people to thank, you know, Napa and United and all the no-fear people. Thanks for that.
Let's go back out on track.
Sprague has collided with the leader, Bodine, and spun him out. Bodine hit again, knocked out of the lead again.
This is unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable.
It is the third caution, and it comes literally moments after Darrell Waltrip had unlapped himself.
We see Darrell, and as Sprague tries his best to get in that spot, and Jeff comes down trying to take that spot away, trying to block that move by Sprague. They make contact, and Bodine is lucky that he did not back in the fence.
Now we'll get another look at it. Ahead is Waltrip, having just unlapped himself. There is the contact. Not as clear cut as last week when he got hit squarely in the back. I mean, Jeff was trying to come down and block that spot. So Sprague, that 25 truck, by the way, that is the same truck with which Terry Labonte won at Richmond. So Jeff Bodine already has some bad memories of that truck, and now he has another one. There's the low angle.
And then we can see the contact. And Jeff, as I said, look, he didn't go up and back the thing in the fence. But Sprague is stopped up in turn 4 right now. I guess he's waiting for the pace truck. Is that? We'll see what's going to happen here. I guess he just has gotten ahead of the pace truck. And okay, now he will assume his position in the lead, and the flagman gives the signal.
All right, we'll take a quick break and come back for the restart with Sprague the leader after Bodine's spin. Wilkesboro, North Carolina, watching the NASCAR Craftsman SuperTruck Series. We have come to expect fireworks and excitement. Today is no exception. The leader spun out just past halfway.
And the leader was Jeff Bodine, the Exide Batteries truck. Now Jack Sprague, the Bud truck in the red 25, has assumed the lead, and Kenny Wallace in number 90, the black and white truck, is second. Green flag.
Back underway on lap 95. Sprague gets a great restart. Wallace will go after it. It's the first opportunity we've had to see Kenny contend for the lead here in his short truck racing career. Miller is up to third in the 98-2. On the outside there, Mike Bliss sitting in fourth spot. And Kenny Schrader in fifth in the 52. Rutman would be fifth. And that's solid for Rutman, because nowhere in the top 10 will we find Mike Skinner. He continues to struggle. The championship point leader's truck is still not working. Bodine on the rear deck of Rutman.
I'd hate to be in Joe Rutman's shoes. I'd hate to be in front of Jeff Bodine right now.
You think Jeff might be in a hurry to get back to the front?
I think he might be. Just a little steam.
That's Setzer on the inside of Bodine. Now the rest by Wood out.
Ooh, it's crowded there. It is crowded.
And you're exactly right. I mean, Rutman is the guy in the hot seat. Andy Bodine goes by on the outside.
Did you see him just drive up on the outside? Wow, that Exide truck is strong. He passes Rutman in one straightaway.
On the outside to boot. How much speed do they scrub off in the corner? They use brakes?
Oh, yes, hard. Very, very hard on the brakes. And there we see the three abreast. Down in the one, and they make it.
Potential trouble there for Hornaday 16 and 3 Skinner.
Skinner and Todd Bodine, the 61, once again are racing for position. And we see that Sedgwick gets his truck sideways. Meanwhile, Hornaday's on the inside of Swindell.
Hornaday opening up maybe a truck length over Skinner, trying to get through this traffic. Get on up there and figure out a way to run down Ruttman. Remember, Hornaday is not out of this championship. He's 187 points back. If run you back through the field, note that Bodine wound up 5th after that spin, so it was much less disastrous than it might have been. Skinner continues to be the story as he struggles here. I don't think they got that truck a whole lot better, maybe a little bit better, but not as good as he would like.
And there we see Todd Bodine on the inside. Meanwhile, Kenny Wallace is not letting Sprague get away. And there we see Butch Miller in the 3rd place and Bliss 4th. So
still very much a race.
Yes, it is very much a race. And there we see Todd Bodine. Skinner wisely backs off, does not make it 3 abreast.
Bodine will take that spot, try to work his way around Swindell as they finally leave the 75 truck of Sedgwick behind. It has been a wild season for the Craftsman SuperTruck Series. They'll go west and decided in the 3 remaining races as this wraps up the East Coast swing here that has brought them as companion races to the Winston Cup cars and Martinsville here in North Wilkes and in Richmond.
And next week on Saturday, these trucks will be at Sears Point, California on the road course. Now that ought to be exciting.
Wally Dallenbach will come back and race a truck there. All right, let's go back and check with the leaders up front. Jack Sprague still under a great deal of pressure here from Kenny Wallace. Wallace sizing it up at this point, or is he running that truck as hard as it'll run to try to get around him?
I think he's probably running as hard as he can and not spin the tires. He does not want to spin the tires. He wants to save them as much as he possibly can.
Mention that the NASCAR promoter fraternity lost a very good friend. Dick Steinbeck died last week. The Orange Show Speedway out in San Antonio, California has been a NASCAR track for something like 40 years. Dick ran it from 1985 on. The show will go on. His wife Linda will continue to run the Orange Show, and they'll run tonight with the Coors 100 on the NASCAR Featherlight Tour. So our condolences to Dick's family and best of luck to Linda. She continues a great NASCAR tradition out there at San Bernardino on the Orange Show.
Don't you know that Enoch Staley would love to see these trucks here on his North Wilkesboro Speedway? This is the first major event that's been held here since Enoch passed away.
He'd be proud of the crowd they've put into this place. It's about 2/3 full, I'd say, which that's a lot of folks. The hills and hollers of North Carolina. This is a fascinating place. If you've never been here, you really need to come. It's not exactly the middle of nowhere, but it's close.
Oh,
There's
no.
Big racetrack.
This is home, Dave. This is where I grew up in Wilkes County. And I tell you what, we're going to see a great race because Butch Miller, there he is. That red and blue truck, the bestest truck, is closing in. Sprague right now is holding up Kenny Wallace just a little bit. And Butch is hoping that he'll hold him up until he can get there. Now here comes Kenny. Does he have it? No.
Kenny's touched him a time or two just to let him know he's there. Nothing too enthusiastic yet. Well, I would qualify as enthusiastic right there. He must be listening. We got him a little bit sideways. Sprague said, "No, I knew that was coming. No problem." Lapping at close to 109 miles an hour as Wallace works on Sprague, perhaps feeling the pressure from Butch Miller, the 4th-ranked driver in the series. Kenny Wallace first raced here in the Cup car back in 1990. Finished 26th. He's won 4 Winston Cup races since. He's putting that North Wilkesboro experience to good use. We'll take a break and come back with more. Who's going to win the Lowe's 150? Find out when we come back. We're back, and look at this. Kenny Wallace up the inside. He's got him. Drives around Sprague after giving him a couple little warning taps. A little tap on the horn there, and then drove right on by. That was pretty.
It was pretty. And then we see that Bliss and Jeff Bodine. Hey, Jeff Bodine is not out of this thing yet, you know.
Let's just make it official. It's a 5-truck battle for the lead with Bodine, the 5th-place man. Here's how it came about.
Off dirt turn 2, Kenny gets position. Sprague has nothing to do but just let him go, because if he comes down, there's going to be a crash. Like there was when Bodine was up in front.
Kenny knows that and says, I'll take the lead. Thank you very much. Sprague currently with 12 top 10 finishes. His best, a 4th place finish at Flemington. 7th in the series points, but 2nd for the moment. Wallace goes up the hill and loses everything he got and more.
Oh.
Goes from 1st to 5th.
Man, oh, something is wrong. Something is wrong with the Red Dog truck. The right front tire's flat.
Flat tire.
Yes, he stopped up in the middle of the corner.
So the yellow will fly. Now gets it back underway. Tire went flat for Wallace in turn 3 and 4, and up the hill he went.
Was that a great move on Kenny Wallace's stop? He goes up and stops, gets the caution out. He comes in and changes the tire. He's on the lead lap. He doesn't lose those 2 laps he was going to lose changing that tire. Kenny, you're thinking, buddy.
I think he did that on purpose, huh?
I know he did it on purpose.
Well, there's the offending right front. Now, will NASCAR have a word with him about that? Will they say, Kenny, you could have just driven down off the racetrack?
They'll say, Kenny, you start at the rear of that line. That car's on the lead lap. Exactly where he was going to start anyway. You see. Kenny, that was smart. That was really smart.
You get high marks for Benny Parsons for that one, Wallace. That's the Red Dog truck. Any sign of dogism out there, they will bite you on the leg. They took a little nip out of the 25 truck of Sprague and then used that opportunity to drive by on the bottom, but it was all for naught as Wallace falls victim to a flat tire. So the unexpected continues to be routine in Craftsman SuperTruck racing here on ESPN. We'll take a break and come back as the laps begin to wind down. Stay with us.